This is commentary on Workbook Lesson 32. I've invented the world I see in A Course in Miracles. Today we're continuing to develop the theme of cause and effect. This theme has been around the power of our thoughts and our ability to change those thoughts, and having changed those thoughts, our experience of the world around us and ourselves has changed. This is a continual process throughout the course. It's a stated learning goal to get us in touch with the power of our thoughts. And specifically in this paragraph, it's thinking of our thoughts in terms of our desires, what we want. So it's the power of our thoughts in conjunction with the power of our wanting. So you're not a victim. You're not a victim of the world you see because you've invented it. And this is one of these lines where it says in the workbook, you might not believe this, you might resist it, it doesn't matter, just do the lesson, and the benefits will come from that. So here's another statement of the first principle of miracles. There's no order of difficulty in miracles because it's a function of a decision that we made to want to see ourselves and the world in a certain way, and we can just as easily make another decision, want something else, and that will be our experience then. So you will see or you will not see as you wish while you want it. You will see it, which when you no longer want it, it will not be there for you to see. I mentioned in a lesson previous commentary from chapter 21, Reason and Perception, that talks about the power of our wanting, and that we're training our minds to come to a point where whatever we see, whatever distressful situation we see, we just need to ask ourselves, is this what I want? Is this what I would see? And reminding ourselves of that power, then we can make another decision. So our wanting is everything here. Okay, so we go on to the next paragraph. The idea for today, like the preceding ones, applies to your inner and outer worlds, which are actually the same. However, since you see them as different, the practice periods for today will again include two phases, one involving the world you see outside you and the other world you see in your mind. Now, here's key. However, since you see them as different, so this is a way of showing how very practical the course is, practical in its wisdom and loving in the way that it approaches us, is that it recognizes how difficult a gap there is in us to see automatically that what I'm thinking inside makes the world. That we do see, it meets us where we're at. We do see them as different. And so it meets us at that place to try and change it there. It doesn't expect us to just accept the fact that they're the same. So it's very practical. So since we see them different, then we'll have two different forms of practice. One involving the world you see outside you, and the other, the one that's in your mind. And so here's an instruction. In today's exercises, try to introduce the thought that both are in your imagination. If you look at this word imagination, its root is images. And remember from lesson that my thoughts are images that I make. So this imagination power of the mind, this image making, is how we made the separation real, how we made the world, our bodies in it, and egos. It's through imaging, through our imagination. Very powerful. Okay, so again, we will begin the practice periods for the morning and evening by repeating the idea for today 2 or 3 times while looking around at the world you see outside yourself. Now notice in a lot of these lessons we were said to look at specific things, this table, that hat, that door, and now we're not doing that. It's just general view of things without that specificity. So we repeat the idea while looking around, and then apply the idea to it, and then we close our eyes and look around your inner world and try to treat them both as equally as possible. Okay, so there's another instruction in this practice. Try to treat them both as equally as possible. So that, just as this try and see in this paragraph before, try to introduce the thought that they're both in your imagination, that's an instruction. So here's another one. Try to treat them both as equally as possible. Repeat the idea today unhurriedly. Notice that's a very specific instruction. As often as you wish, as you watch the images your imagination presents to your awareness. So a very slow, unhurriedly repetition, very peaceful. I've invented the world that I see as we look inward or look outward. So for the two practice periods, 3 to 5 minutes are recommended, with not less than 3 required. All right, so what's happened is the course is starting to introduce the structure, and when it first started to do that, it addressed our authority issues. It's like, making us do something. Is this something that's imposed upon us? And the course's view is that we really do want the benefits of this, so it's not being forced on us. So when it's saying that 3 are required, not just recommended, then that's something we're expected to follow as a student. The teacher's requiring this. So we want to try and fulfill that the best that we can, forgive ourselves when we don't, and just move on, try again. So he's showing, some openness here, in that more than 5 can be utilized, more than 5 minutes if you find it restful. If not, don't try and do more than that brings you peace or rest. So to facilitate this, select a time when a few distractions are anticipated and when you feel yourself reasonably ready. So this is another structure that will be repeated throughout the workbook, is for us to find times and places when we can actually practice, which is really important, where where we're not going to feel like the phone's going to ring or we got to do something, when we know that we can devote the time to it and give it our attention. So we want to choose those times. And all these practice instructions are really important, and to follow them, because the power of these ideas are such, is that even a little bit of a success with them will have great benefits for it. And we've all experienced that there's been distress. We've used an idea from the course and it's changed our experience. So we know that happens. But it doesn't happen unless we practice. The old joke, the way to get to Carnegie Hall. How do I get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. So it's really important to try the best that you can to apply these, because once we get these experiences, then we'll be motivated and we won't need structures or rules or any sort of rigidity. It'll be our natural state that we'll adopt this new set of ideas and they will automatically work inside of us, but it takes practice. Okay, so these exercises are also to be continued during the day as often as possible. Now here's another structure. Morning and evening are these longer extended practices where we find a time when there's not many distractions. And now this is what's called frequent reminders. The shorter applications consist of repeating the idea slowly as you survey your inner or outer world. They're not different. So this is frequent reminder through the day, as much as we can, just repeating this idea. I've invented the world that I see. Whether you're looking at something that's going on inside you or seemingly outside you, we just apply this as often as we can. Okay, so next paragraph. The idea for today should be applied immediately to any situation that may distress you. So this is what the Course calls another structure of practice, response to temptation, is that, and what I've called the practice on the fly, is that as soon as we've lost our peace, this keyword, immediately to any situation, as soon as we've lost our peace, try the best that we can to say, I want to see this differently. Is this what I want? Is this what I've experienced? And do that right away, and then apply this idea. I've invented this situation as I see it. Okay. So to do that, whether we believe it, whether we resist it or not, is just to practice that as best that we can, and the results will come from that. Okay, so we'll keep talking about this workbook structure in practice of morning and evening, frequent reminders through the day, and this practice of on the fly or as a response to temptation when we're tempted to lose our peace and practicing at that time. Okay, thanks. That's it.